CJ Stroud. Wow, the incredible story of CJ Stroud continues for the Houston Texans. Just wow. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about the Texans being one win away from making the NFL playoffs this season. If the Texans beat the Colts on Saturday night, they are guaranteed a playoff spot in the AFC. However, the Texans could even win the AFC South division with a win and a Jaguars loss. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So, here it is. Will CJ Stroud lead the Texans into the NFL playoffs over the Colts? I believe it's going to happen. If you guys don't believe in CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans, well, it's more than time to go ahead and believe in them, because what the Houston Texans have done this year have been incredibly awesome to see. And for CJ Stroud to have a historic rookie year, it's been incredible to see. I know that CJ Stroud is going to fall short of the rookie passing yards record, but damn it, he was on pace to break the record for most passing yards by a rookie had he not suffered a concussion against the New York Jets. You look at CJ Stroud's win-loss record, 8-6 as a starter. That's pretty damn good for a rookie. How many number 2 overall picks can come in and just immediately turn around a franchise? Because the answer to that question would be not many. I've been very impressed with what CJ Stroud has been able to do. I know some people might be saying, oh, CJ Stroud, he's on a good football team. And don't get me wrong, the Houston Texans have been incredible overachievers this year, but this team would not be in playoff position without CJ Stroud. Had they taken somebody like Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, they would not be in position to make the NFL playoffs this year. What CJ Stroud has been able to do for the Houston Texans has been impressive. CJ Stroud has been able to do this with a mediocre running game for the Houston Texans. And you look at their wide receivers in Houston, they're not necessarily a great receiving corps. Don't get me wrong, I think Tank Dell is a fine wide receiver, but Tank Dell is injured right now. Tank Dell is out for the season, and it doesn't matter. CJ Stroud finds a way to make the offense look good while he continues to find ways to win games with Nico Collins as his wide receiver one. Are you kidding me? Do you know how many veteran quarterbacks couldn't win with Nico Collins as their wide receiver one? And for a rookie quarterback to go ahead and win with a limited wide receiving corps like CJ Stroud, very impressive stuff. I understand that you got to give the offensive coordinator Bobby Slowik a lot of credit. He's from the Shanahan coaching tree. He's done a great job putting CJ Stroud in position to succeed and getting the most out of his team. So I got to give Bobby Slowik a ton of credit. And then, of course, you got DeMeco Ryans. Wow, what a tremendous leader DeMeco Ryans has been for the Houston Texans. What DeMeco Ryans has been able to do this year has been nothing short of impressive. If it wasn't for the coaching job Kevin Stefanski was doing in Cleveland, I would be shouting DeMeco Ryans for Coach of the Year. Because did you see what the Houston Texans have been able to do in just 1 year under DeMeco Ryans? This Houston Texans franchise won just 11 games in the last 3 years, and for the Houston Texans to be on pace to win 10 games this year, very impressive. Right now, the Houston Texans are playing with house money for the NFL playoffs, because if they lose against the Indianapolis Colts, people aren't going to say, oh, why the Texans choke? They're going to say, oh, what a great season the Houston Texans had. They won 9-8 in a tough AFC, and they did it while thinking, man, a lot of people, they're not going to win more than 4 games this year. I said the Houston Texans will win 6 games before the year started, and I was laughed out of the building. I said CJ Stroud would break the rookie passing record set by a rookie quarterback. Well, CJ Stroud would have done that had he not suffered a concussion, but my point still stands. CJ Stroud has had a historic rookie year. In fact, I say that the Rookie of the Year award should be named after CJ Stroud. It should be called the CJ Stroud Trophy. That's how good CJ Stroud has been. And if CJ Stroud keeps this up, it's going to be like Michael Jordan for the Houston Texans. And I say Michael Jordan is comparable to CJ Stroud because CJ Stroud is going to totally carry that franchise for years to come. I see CJ Stroud being a superstar in the making, and I don't think this is going to be peak CJ Stroud football. I think this is only the beginning of greatness for CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud is going to be an MVP candidate for years to come. I think the Houston Texans are going to be major contenders in the AFC, assuming the Houston Texans could actually build a football team around them. Do I have confidence in the organization of the Texans? Not necessarily, but do I have confidence in CJ Stroud? Heck yeah, I got confidence in him. I was very confident on CJ Stroud before the draft started. I wanted my Carolina Panthers to take CJ Stroud over Bryce Young, over Anthony Richardson, and over any other quarterback prospect, but the Carolina Panthers didn't do that. And what I have to say for the Panthers is they might have just pulled a Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan move. Remember the time where Sam Bowie was picked over Michael Jordan in the 1984 draft? Yeah, I remember that happening. That's going to be like that. And obviously, the guy that took Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan looks like an idiot, while the guy that took Michael Jordan, well, now he's a 6-time champion. Now, is he known as a good GM in the game of basketball? No, he's not known as that. But hey, at least he won 6 championships. What I'm trying to say is the Houston Texans might have just pulled the Chicago Bulls and lucked themselves into a superstar at the quarterback position. CJ Stroud is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the game. In fact, he's my favorite young QB to watch when watching the game of football. Wow, what CJ Stroud's been able to do. He can process so much at the line of scrimmage. He can throw the deep ball. He's accurate in the underneath game. He's got a quick release. He understands defenses really well. He doesn't really have a lot of weaknesses whatsoever. The only thing I could say about CJ Stroud is, hey, maybe he holds on to the ball too long. I know some people have been critical of CJ Stroud for his performance against the New York Jets earlier this year. But my comeback point to that would be, hey, he didn't have his top 2 receivers available, and the New York Jets defense is pretty good anyways. I know Joe Flacco gassed him up on Thursday Night Football, but that Jets defense has been lights out for most of the year. Look, they were able to slow down Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen earlier in the year. So if they could shut down those elite quarterbacks, what made you think they were going to shut down CJ Stroud in the passing game? Okay, so you got to look at it from that perspective, and you got to think, wow, CJ Stroud, what a great year that he has had. And I don't expect this to be the last time we'll be talking about CJ Stroud, because CJ Stroud is just an incredible football player. I love everything about his game. I love the fact how CJ Stroud has led the culture change for the Houston Texans. Obviously, you got to give a lot of credit to DeMeco Ryans, but the main guy that you have to give credit to is CJ Stroud, because that guy is a special quarterback. This guy can elevate any franchise at any given time, anywhere, any place, whatever. CJ Stroud is a superstar in the making. As far as what NFL fans aren't telling you about CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans, well, they're not telling you that CJ Stroud is one of the greatest rookie quarterbacks to have ever played in the history of football. And you also have to look at the fact that CJ Stroud is going to take the Houston Texans into an AFC Championship game sometime in the future. Yeah, I'm saying it. CJ Stroud will take the Houston Texans to the AFC Championship game at some point in my lifetime, because CJ Stroud is that good of a quarterback, and people don't realize that, hey, the Houston Texans, they still got a first-round pick next year, even though they traded away one of their first-round picks in last year's draft because they wanted to take Will Anderson. But the thing is, the Houston Texans had 2 first-round picks in 2024, so now they still got one of those. I expect the Houston Texans to be aggressive with that first-round pick. Maybe they could find a way to get Davante Adams to Houston. Could you imagine Davante Adams with CJ Stroud? That would be a lethal QB wide receiver combo. That would be one of the best in the league. I hope the Houston Texans find a way to get Davante Adams to the Houston Texans, because if they do, watch out, NFL. CJ Stroud is going to be a future MVP candidate for years to come. And even if they don't get Davante Adams, whatever, get a capable wide receiver one. Get a wide receiver better than Nico Collins, and they will find a way to be major contenders in the AFC. In fact, if they get somebody like Davante Adams or Stephon Diggs, I'm going to shout the Houston Texans as Super Bowl contenders. I love everything about this Houston Texans team, okay? I love the fact how CJ Stroud has been able to elevate the running game of Devin Singletary. I love the fact how he has been able to get Nico Collins to have a career year. You obviously have to look at the year that Dalton Schultz has had in Houston. He's had an incredible year. CJ Stroud has an extremely good understanding of how to use the tight end. You also look at how he's even elevated the offensive line of the Houston Texans, because the Houston Texans offensive line was known as one of the worst O-lines in football, not just last year, but for the past 3 years. It was an offensive line that not even Deshaun Watson could overcome in Houston. And for CJ Stroud to go ahead and ball out the way they did, very impressive for what CJ Stroud has done. People need to start respecting this guy more. As far as whether or not they're going to beat the Indianapolis Colts on Saturday, I buy it. I believe it. It's time for the Houston Texans to more than shine. I think Gardner Minshew, he's been a great story for the Indianapolis Colts this year. I think Shane Steichen, you got to give him a lot of credit. But I think when you talk about head-to-head, I think the Houston Texans are going to come out victorious when going out against the Indianapolis Colts, because CJ Stroud is a better quarterback than Gardner Minshew, and I expect the Houston Texans to put up points on Saturday. I think it's going to be a good game. I think the difference in this game is who's going to score that extra touchdown. I believe CJ Stroud scores that extra touchdown. That guy is so mature for a rookie. He's had a phenomenal year. You got to give him a ton of credit. I've been very impressed with him. They need to rename the Offensive Rookie of the Year award after CJ Stroud. They need to call it the CJ Stroud Trophy, because he's going to continue his historic rookie year. The Houston Texans are going to beat the Indianapolis Colts by the score of 27-20, and the Houston Texans are going back to the NFL playoffs. As far as whether or not they're going to win the division, I don't see that happening, because they do need the Jaguars to also lose as well. I don't think that's going to happen though, because the Jacksonville Jaguars play the 5-11 Tennessee Titans. Obviously, I don't see the Jaguars losing that game. The Jaguars might be struggling in recent weeks, but they're not going to lose to a 5-11 Titans team. That's just not going to happen whatsoever. So obviously, I think the Texans are going to get to the playoffs. I don't think they're going to end up winning their division, but they're going to clinch a playoff berth somewhere. They're going to be either the 7th seed or the 6th seed. Who really cares? The fact that the Houston Texans are even in the conversation for the NFL playoffs, very impressive to me. They are playing with house money, and I think with them playing house money, they're going to find a way to get into the NFL playoffs. And I believe that CJ Stroud is a superstar in the making, and that the Houston Texans just hit the jackpot on finding a superstar quarterback in the National Football League. So that is why CJ Stroud will lead the Texans into the NFL playoffs, as they will beat the Colts by the score of 27-20. Also, guys, this is Happy New Year. This is the first day of the new year, which is 2024. I want to appreciate you guys for subscribing to the channel and dropping the likes. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate the support. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @Dustin Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @Dustin Tran, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully. you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.